Lisa is all about me. It's all about you.
See fashion as an investment, which makes no sense.
If they do it for free, they won't have money for the next case.
Mona Lisa is about real life and the real lives, yours and mine. Make a date with Mona Lisa, and together, let's ensure that the important stories get told.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like an
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
Sleeping early.
Glad you could stay with us. Now, it seems the troubles of former Senate President Bukola Saraki is not ending soon, as the home of his father, late Olushola Saraki, was demolished earlier today at about 4 a.m. The state governor, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, had earlier announced the decision to revoke the late Olushola Saraki's property due to alleged illegality in its acquisition. After leaving office in June of 2019, the former Senate president has been accused by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of withdrawing 12 billion naira from Kwara State Treasury and has had some of his properties seized by the commission. Joining us for the first time this evening is Smart Akpejoye, political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us.
me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And from the last session, we have Ayo Ademiluyi, legal practitioner.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So let's get started. The intro said it all. He doesn't seem to be having a good time in recent time. What do you make of this demolition in spite of Saraki's position that that property was legally gotten? Let me start with you.
First, it's a bad trend where when a new party emerges, you probably want to destroy or do everything just to probably get back at your predecessor or whatever. And this trend, if care is not taken, will destroy the politics of this nation. First, either this property was either legally or illegally or whatever, that should have been, they should have allowed the courts to take a decision that, look, probably the state government would have gone to a court, filing and bring out.
But they are saying that they did not receive any court order.
What they are saying, that's what I'm saying, that is what I am saying, what the government should have done. What the government should have done is, look, when you see that this property is in contention, and perhaps because, look, you want to play safe that, look, this thing, it is illegal and it has to be stopped.
What about Saraki himself?
No, first, no, not even, now wait a minute. Go to the court, seek a redress and say, look, this property has been, it's been occupied for a very long time, but however, it was illegally acquired. And because of that, we are revoking it. Let the law take its course. And if the court now says yes, after looking all the merits of the case, if the judge now says, okay, now yes, go demolish this, we know that order is from the courts. Not when you just wake up overnight and you go and demolish this thing. It is wrong. Oh, okay. But this guy, Amosu did the same thing. in Ogun State. You resume on a Friday. The Saturday was a public holiday. The Sunday you went to demolish, the Monday was a public holiday. The Monday you went to demolish a property. You said because that property is not is occupying the right of way. How did you know? Is it when you were there as a civilian? Or it is when you got there, when all the civil servants that are supposed to even aid you in doing that are still on vacation or public holiday? That is a bad trend. We must not allow it to continue.
All right, Ayo, I know you want to chip in here.
I have a different opinion altogether.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. The fact is that based on our law, particularly the Land Use Act, speaking strictly law now, the governor has the power to exercise the right of acquisition in public interest. Let's even say, without considering that the Saraki family acquired that land legally, the state governor still has that power to acquire it in public interest. Now, going further now is to now ask the next question that given the argument of the Saraki family that, oh, this land was a property acquired by Asa Investment Limited and all that, does it now warrant the action by the governor of Kwara State? As I said, legally speaking, the answer, if strictly, particularly by the provisions of the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, if strictly on the grounds of public acquisition.
That is what he said, that was supposed to be a secretariat for...
A secretariat clinic, exactly. Now, going further is the argument that the property itself was illegally acquired. There have been no particulars shown thus far as to how it was illegally acquired. Now, that's just speaking law. Now, let's speak a little bit politically. You now discover that, of course, he got it clearly, that what you just have happening in real political balance is a
political tussle.
Yeah, is a tussle for control. But one thing that strikes my mind is that what we have seen in our country is the fact that when people get to power, they use the level of power to acquire landed properties, in fact, there's a particular husband that acquired 300,000 hectares.
But this particular property, now, the people that were protesting its demolition were actually women. Exactly. The purpose for that building, from what we have in the news, is that it was a place that widows go, that get some palliative. Sad realities. So what if you make that comparison between providing for the widow and building a car park or a secretariat hospital? Exactly. Which is of more importance?
It falls back to the sad reality I was painting the other time. Our ruling class use our misfortune to do a kind of crossfire among themselves. It is true that the aged people needs a caring home, but it can't be on the basis of philanthropism, which for years the elite in these countries have taken it as if health service is not a right, it's a privilege, and things they can do for us on the basis of philanthropism. It does not also mean that as against the representation of the Kwara State government, that they want to build a secretariat clinic or whatever it is called, a service clinic or car park and all that it has a genuine interest of the Kwara workers. So what is at play is more or less an intra-class war, a competition for control, a competition for who gets what at any particular point in time.
Well, we'll try and look at that a little more if we have time, but you've just stated that on the surface. Let me come back to you, Mr. Smart. What are the options for Saraki? Because he's been talking tough since this whole fiasco started.
You see?
And we know he has said that the governor should not test him or something along those lines. Well, looking at the demolition has been done. What are his options?
Well, you see, it's just like there's a Yoruba saying that whoever that God gave judgment to that does not accept, let's see whom he will appeal to. As it is now, the only person that Saraki can appeal to is the court. Saraki will go to the court. tender all his evidence, just like he have said, legal angle, legally looking at it. If you have, look, if this property is sitting on this place, and if for any reason the government felt, look, we want to acquire this property because we want to create something that will facilitate tourism because of the fact that it's closer to Nehru Beach here, that they want to acquire this place.
In public interest.
For public interest, the government has a right. First, now, the government will look at it now. Do you have a CFO? If you have a CFO, they will now come again and look at what are the value. So in that case, you'll be compensated. But now, if you don't have value, the government could just, if you don't have a CFO, the government, what are the titles you have? Are you a genuine holder in due course? So when they now look at it, they could say, okay, let us compensate him on compassionate ground. They could come up with it. But again, you see, why I'm very upset about this Saraki demolition is that these our governors, they keep doing something that attract negative interest, that attract negativity, that even try to probably engulf the state. Like in the case of Edo State now, most of the things happening in that state has nothing to do with governance. These governors should concentrate on is more on governance. Not when you come there, you want to do a personal vendetta because of this thing. It is wrong. They are doing it as if that 8 years will not. That let's even assume that he's using the 4 years. That another 4 years he will be there.
But this is not just from Kwara State. Let's look at it from another angle. A court in Lagos just recently approved the forfeiture of his Ilorin residence as well, coupled with some of the travails he's had to go through since his fallout. Some people are speculating that this is a witch hunt, that because he is no longer in the corridors of power.
Exactly.
But again, his family, his sibling, is in the corridor of power. So how does that really connect?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just a very beautiful question you have had there. Which I have told you the fact that it all boils down to what we call the law of a parallelogram of forces. Now, it's about their class interests. I have said earlier here that where their interests merge, they will unite. Where it diverges, they would disunite. Now, I shed no tear whatsoever for Bukola Saraki because he represents arguably that's one of the elements that have argued in the 8th National Assembly, and we all know what happened. Of course, I do not want to speak on cases in court because as a lawyer, as a trained lawyer, they are matters before the court. But politically speaking, they represent part of the elite of this country that holds the Commonwealth of this country by jugular. Now, going further as to that is the fact that his travail is tied to the fact that he's not in power. Power is everything. Power is the bulwark of the state, especially in colonial economies like our own and everything. Now, based on as it may, you now find on the flip side his sister, Gbemisola Saraki, who is in the cabinet of the anti-corruption regime. Now, how do you put that? What that means is that originally their interest, in terms of interests, in terms of cross-alignment of interests, Saraki has been played out. Gbemisola is on that side. But now you find Gbemisola and Bukola both uniting to confront the demolition of their father's property.
Yeah, I think you've made your point very validly. Let's wrap this show up with your final thoughts on his future. Do you see a comeback? Because we know that in the early 90s or late 90s, the Saraki family was like the movers and shakers of everything politics in his home state. But in recent times, do you see a comeback for him?
One thing that I know as it concerns politics in this country, never say never.
Exactly.
Because the Bukola Saraki that you thought, probably if time has permit me, I would have even said, look, that some of his, he has a temporary forfeiture, does not mean it's a final forfeiture, number one.
That's true.
It's not a final forfeiture. And the simple truth is that if the EFCC has valid ground for which to prosecute Bukola Saraki, the simple truth is that we will ask Bukola Saraki if all this property is in question that have been temporarily forfeited, are they genuinely acquired? If yes, from what source have you acquired this? Because today, I cannot even see any valid company tied to Bukola Saraki that is doing well before he's emerging into politics. That is the simple truth. Because we all know that, okay, of course, he used to be in the board of Society General. What is the where is Society General?
Bank, exactly.
Where is Society General? In some other banks, in some other places, what are they doing? So
I guess we'll have to wait and see what plays out
however,
in the coming days.
You can never say never for politicians.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your thoughts. I appreciate them. And of course, thank you for staying with us. We'll take our Plus report now, and when we return, I'll be giving my take. Do stay with us.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has reiterated the Nigerian Army's commitment to ensuring the welfare of troops deployed to the Northeast. General Buratai, while commissioning several projects, said personnel of the Nigerian Army will continue to perform their constitutional responsibilities. He also laid the foundation for the construction of the perimeter fence of the barracks and called on personnel of the Nigerian Army to consolidate on the gains made against Boko Haram in the last few years.
My vision for the Nigerian Army places premium, and of course, on the welfare of the troops and their families. Thus, the Entrepreneurship and Skill Acquisition Center is expected to develop the skills of the youths and women here in the cantonment in becoming self-reliant. In the same vein, the transit accommodation will assist in facilitating the general administration of the large number of personnel deployed here in the Northeast, who use the Gibson Jallow cantonment as a transit point. Also, the accident and emergency ward will enhance healthcare delivery for the soldiers and their families, as well as the locals residing around the cantonment.
The provision of these projects no doubt will greatly enhance the welfare of our troops and their families. We are therefore most grateful, sir, for your keen interest in looking into the welfare needs of the troops of 3 Division and the Nigerian Army in general.
The center comprises departments for computer studies, barbing, hairdressing, handcrafts, block making, amongst several others. In the interim, the 23 Brigade Education Officer has been tasked to coordinate the activities of the center. The brigade has selected 53 students, as you can see before you, just ahead, who are mainly the women and youths from this cantonment and some from our neighboring communities, to attend the maiden courses, which are expected to commence on the 6th January next year.
The people of Adamawa State are indeed grateful to the Nigerian Army for the efforts to combat terrorism in the Northeast. In particular, we are happy with the efforts of the troops of 23 Brigade to reciprocate your efforts. The Adamawa State government is making effort to assist in renovating the government day secondary school and road network in Gibson Jallow cantonment.
My thoughts tonight will be a repeat of what has already been said. Our legislature needs the reminder. As happy as many are about the cordial relationship between the legislature and the executive, it is imperative that the legislature does not mar their ability to carry out responsibilities which is first to Nigerians, devoid of negative political undertones. This will dispel the notion of being a rubber stamp for the executive. Now, focus must be on passing well-scrutinized critical bills that will impact the lives of the citizens significantly. Nigerians desire an open National Assembly, one that is transparent and accountable to the public. To this end, I remind them to make public details of their budget. Replace voice voting with electronic voting so citizens can track their representatives. Stay relevant online because that's the new space with a functional and responsive website, and also consider making public the attendance records at plenary. Will the National Assembly be brave enough to take on the issue of restructuring before their tenure is done? That will be bold. That will be good. The very best of deliberations as they resume plenary for the year 2020. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching our program. If you missed any episode, please visit Plus TV Africa YouTube channel, find the playlist and play catch up. The program returns same time tomorrow. Until then, please be well. Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now. And that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
And Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
To an extent, the reading culture of Nigerians is not too good. A lot of people believe that every other thing is much more important than buying a book to read. Apart from the fact that people just want to read books for the purpose of passing their exams or going through school, hardly do people believe that reading outside that purpose still will help them to an extent.
It's been full of ups and downs. Nigerians don't read. I dare to disagree because, I mean, we're 16K followers strong on our Instagram account, on other platforms as well. We also have a huge following. So if at all people are not interested in books in Nigeria, we don't have people follow in the first place. And it's so exciting to find out that there are so many people outside of Lagos in deep core parts of Nigeria that are buying and shopping for us, and they are just so excited that, oh, this book is locally available and it's sort of like within reach for them. So it's been exciting. It could be better, but again, we do it for the culture, you do it for the passion, and hopefully more stakeholders get interested in it, and it gets better. I got into selling books because I was very passionate about it, and then I was hungry to find other people like me. I wanted to connect with them, and the kind of books that fascinated me were not, I could hardly find people around who were excited about them as well. So at the time, when I interact with people within my age range, they're either talking about some foreign authors that write books outside of the context that I'm familiar with. So I wanted to meet with other young people, other people of like minds who were excited about the kind of books that I liked. And yeah, that was basically how it all begun. And then beyond that also, I definitely used to go to some website online to find out what people are, what books are forced to reckon with internationally. And then most of those books are not available locally, so I had to either shop from some big names out there. And then I thought, oh, if these books are available and people are actually talking about them, reviewing them, perhaps there might be young people or people in Nigeria as well that would really want to read about them. So I end up bringing a few copies, see if I can circulate within my circle, publicize, use social media, and see how far it goes. And so that was how it all started.
It's actually more like born out of inspiration, and then the drive to bring books closer to people, because at some points that I loved reading, I found it hard getting the kind of books I really always wanted to read. So it was like, yeah, you could get this for other people, and then it's been there for me. So I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and I'm the fact that I can have access to books too as a bookseller is fantastic for me. Yeah, it's been profitable. It's how you do the business that makes it profitable for you. So it's been profitable. It may not be the best of the businesses in the country or in the world, especially maybe in this part of the world, knowing fully well the attitude to reading and education generally, and then even government's attitude to education, So, but still, there are still people who know that without education, they wouldn't be where they are. And then even if they are not educated, they get the best of educated people to work for them. So that means education, which comes through reading of books, is a key and vital role in this life.
It has enhanced reading, but what I realize is that even for those who normally would not like to buy a Bible before, because of the ability to read their Bibles from their phones. A lot of people are beginning to dump reading Bibles on their phones with buying regular Bibles, because they've seen the importance of having to carry a Bible or read a hard copy Bible. When people read from their phones, most times they can't easily go back or even highlight certain things. But with the hard copy Bible, they are able to do some highlighting, go back, make references and all that. So technology, to an extent, it has its own advantage and its own disadvantage to our business. Advantages are the fact that people could, read at any time they want to, in the dark, wherever. But disadvantage is the fact that it's handy, when you have your books on your media, electronic media. But for those who still cherish the hard copy books, they still come back, to pick up the hard copy books from us. Lots of Nigerians are writing more, because virtually on a daily basis we get new books from Nigerian writers, asking that Latona should carry their books. It's a bit challenging, but at the same time we try to encourage them, to review their books and then accept it for display on our shelves.
We still battle with issues of piracy. There are times where royalties are not paid the way they are supposed to. Publishing houses don't put enough effort to promoting books the way they are supposed to. So that way books, and people are not even aware that some Nigerian authors are writing really, really good books. I think sometimes more books written by Nigerian authors are sort of like accepted in the Western world better than they are locally. And also, in terms of marketing, publicity, locally, more effort still needs to be put in place to help us combat issues of piracy, and then ensure that people are more able to access so many of these books as well locally.
For book lovers, I say keep reading, because you know already what you are gaining from reading. And then for governments, give more allocation to education. Allocation to education is very important, and you can't have a government that just places less emphasis on education, and every year you expect your people to be better, and then there are fightings. Any small thing, any little thing, there's fights, and you know it's all because of the level of exposure and education of the people, and it's playing a role in every facet of the economy, every facet of the society, because people are not well enlightened about their rights, about the opportunities that they can actually get, and many of those things come in through parts of education, and reading is part of it.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
So coming into Lagos and having to do like 5 jobs, you know, at a time, just my life has always been a balancing act, you know. Time was when I was in this town. Funny you mentioned it. This entire area, I hip hop around this area. I start from NTA and begin to work my way gradually, end up here at Peck Theatre, you know, and then at the Onikon Museum, and then at Racecourse. Story for another day.
All right, so growing up, I mean, I wouldn't say I was born with a silver spoon, but I was okay. Dad had everything going on for us. And I lost him when I was 16. So at that point in my life, I had to start making decisions for myself, which was a bit difficult. And that was when I actually decided to become a DJ. When my dad was alive, he didn't want me to do entertainment. You know, so I had to shape myself, take that decision. I remember leaving my house for 2 years at some point because I was chasing my dream. And I mean, all that basically has molded me into the man I am today.
I remember while I was in school, you know, I would never imagine I would be the person today. I even, at some point, never had money to go to school. So what I would do, I would walk all the way to the bus stop and hope that when I get in the bus, I'll see a student like me that can pay for me before I get to Lasu Gate. No, but for real, you know, life is like that, and we just take all these things and mold them into what makes us stronger. You mold all the struggle into dumbbells, and they make yourself stronger. That's it. You know, so for me, I can share a lot of experience with you that would make you drop your jaw and be like, you went through all this.
I personally, I never saw the 4 walls of a university, but I found myself now being able to inspire and speak to a lot of audiences. And it's all about self-improvement. Having that drive to, you know, I want to be better than who I am. I want to move, I want to be a positive change. I want to impact positively on the people. It is just one making that honest decision to push themselves rather than looking for the shortest cut by doing all sorts of, you know, hanky-panky nonsense. We can, only you can.
I've been so broke that I had to walk from Maryland to Ilukweju because I didn't have 15-hour transport money for bus. So yeah, I've been through that. And I didn't want to call anybody. This was something that I was like, I got to go through this on my own because I decided to get into the entertainment industry and chase after my dreams. Left my job. I was tired of calling family, parents, my father, my mother, my guardians to say, yo, I'm broke, you know. I was like, you know what, let's rough it, you know. And I did. But here I am today.
One of my worst experience then was when I premiered on radio, the first 2 weeks was hell because people was calling the radio station to some said they should arrest me, some said they should sack me, some said they should they don't like my voice. They just feel say I be worried, but are they rude, you know. Then not be now we be like say comedian go come. Then a few comedians they. So when you go strange land and I Enugu are they then when you go that kind of area we be like say the only comedians where they know that and Ikemowo or Sophia Sin and you got they speak pidgin and you know say comedian that time if you hear person, you go be like say you dey rude. And those Igbo people, they not they take her likely at all. So the first 2 weeks for my radio career, they say me they sack me. First 3 weeks, so me and my friends, what we they do? People go call the radio station, say me they sack me. We can go buy card, 90 card. So when those people they call, my friends will go try to call the radio station, say Mona leave Mo, now our best presenter. But the funny thing is our calls not they go through. If we try call the radio station where they work, we know if they get the radio station. But the other people they call. And the village people. Yes, my village people, your blog the line.
A few years ago, 2012, I think, or 2013, I was on a music competition. I was in a music competition, and one of the judges said to me, I still know him, I'm not going to call him out. So he said that he doesn't feel like singing is something I should ever think of.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't feel bad because I'm precious.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Arm Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines, and I am Amaka Ukwe. Now, troops of the Nigerian military have repelled an attack by suspected Boko Haram insurgents in Michika local government area of Adamawa State. The insurgents had stormed Kopa and Urogayadi in the outskirts of Shuwa at about 7 p.m., resulting in a stampede and residents scampering for safety. They attempted to enter Michika, causing residents to flee towards Uba town, while others took refuge in nearby mountains. According to a community leader and a one-time chairman of Michika local government, Stephen Madua, military fighter jets were promptly drafted to the area and aircraft's gunshots were heard by residents as the attackers were forced to retreat through Lassa, a community near the Sambisa forest. Personnel security, including the local vigilantes, were quickly mobilized and repelled the attack and secured the communities once again. Now, the Kwara State government clarified the late Ulushola Saraki's building was demolished before dawn on Thursday to avoid confrontation. The Kwara State Commissioner for Communications, Murtala Olarewaju, in a statement on Thursday, said it was in line with the physical reclamation of the plot of land bordering the Civil Service Clinic in Ilorin. There were reports that some women had planned a protest on Thursday against the revocation of the land where the building was located by the state government. He also clarified that the state government was not served any court papers on the property. Meanwhile, former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has commended supporters of his family for showing support and displayed affection during the demolition of his family home, popularly called Ile Arugbo, by the Kwara State government. The building was demolished in the early hours of Thursday morning after police dispersed protesters, including old women. Saraki, while reacting, said the actions of the protesters showed that they were not intimidated by the presence of security and government officials who perfected the orders of the state government. The former Senate president said that the actions by the protesters have shown a gesture of goodwill and passionate love, hoping that justice shall prevail soon. And the People's Democratic Party has condemned the demolition of a property belonging to the family of former Senate President Bukola Saraki by the Kwara State government. The PDP described the invasion and demolition as wicked, cowardly, and a direct recipe for a huge crisis in the state. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Logbodion, said that the action of the state government is born out of hatred and political intolerance. The party holds that the plot by the APC and its administration is to intimidate, suppress, hound, crush and silence opposition and dissenting voices in our country in the bid to foist a siege mentality on the citizenry. Now, away from that story, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami maintained that the President Muhammadu Buhari administration was constitutionally right in detaining the convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, and former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambu Dasuki, retired amid court orders. Speaking on a live program, Malami stated that the federal government, in its discretion, could challenge any court order if found uncomfortable within the ambits of the Constitution. He asserted that a decision passed by a judicial system could either be complied with wholeheartedly or revert to the rule of law by way of establishing rights that are accorded to the government. Now, a Christian cleric in Kaduna State, Reverend Amos Kiri, has tasked the federal government to do more in ensuring the protection of lives and property of Nigerians. Reverend Kiri urged fellow worshippers to pray for a better nation while also praying for the progress of the country.
The primary responsibility of any government is the safety of lives and property of its citizens. For Nigerians to have confidence of its government, efforts should be made by the government to provide more amenities to the populace and create conducive environment for all citizens to practice the religion of their choice. I also add here that the security agents be proactive in their quest to make Nigeria a safe country to live.
And the news continue after this short break. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. And the African Saints, 4 children were among 18 people killed on Thursday when a Sudanese military transport plane crashed after takeoff from West Darfur State, according to an army spokesman. The plane crashed 5 minutes after takeoff from an airport in the state capital, El Geneina, after delivering aid to the area, which had been hit by recent deadly tribal fighting. The spokesman, Amer Mohamed Al-Hassan, said an investigation was underway to determine the cause of the crash. Most of Sudan's military and civilian fleet consists of old Soviet-made aircraft, and the country has suffered a series of crashes in recent years, with the military frequently blaming technical problems and bad weather for it. That'll be it on the African Scenes. Coming up next is the foreign news.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
On the foreign scenes, President Hassan Rouhani said Iran and the free nations will take revenge on the United States for killing Revolutionary Guards Commander Qasem Soleimani on Friday. Rouhani said Soleimani's martyrdom by the aggressor and America has saddened the hearts of the nation of Iran and all the nations of the region. He added his death had the determination of the nation of Iran and other free nations to stand against America's bullying and defend Islamic values. Now, the killing of the powerful commander of Iran's Islamic Revolution Revolutionary Guards Corps, Major General Qasim Soleimani, in a drone strike on Friday sharply divided congressional leaders along party lines and reignited a debate over whether Congress should curtail the president's war powers. The strike, which the Pentagon said President Trump ordered, was aimed at deterring future Iranian attack plans, and it was a significant escalation in the administration's pressure campaign against Iran. According to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the strike was carried out without the consultation of Congress. Pelosi said in a statement that American leaders' highest priority is to protect American lives and interests, but cannot put the lives of American service members, diplomats, and others further at risk by engaging in provocative and disproportionate actions. She said the airstrike risks provoking further dangerous escalation of the violence. And still on the foreign scenes, the U.S. Embassy in Iraq issued directive to its citizens to leave the country immediately. The warning was issued on Friday morning, hours after a U.S. airstrike killed a top Iranian general. Al Jazeera reports Qasem Soleimani, the leader of Iran's elite Quds Force units of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, was killed in an airstrike at the Baghdad International Airport in Iraq. The U.S. has confirmed that President Donald Trump actually ordered the airstrike. It's recorded in January 2019 to $38.61 billion at $38.61 billion. Meanwhile, the central bank recently disclosed that Nigeria's dependence on crude oil for more than 6 reserve, like we read, dropped from $43.07 billion in January to $38.61 billion in this.
We don't have control over, of course, those shocks will impact negatively on our. The United States has gone into full-blown production in the area of shale. Previous governments before now, were protecting certain areas in the United States, but the businessman in Donald Trump has thrown open, the doors for production, even in areas that are essentially what previously now reserved as parks. So, and that used to be a major buyer of our, light crude, Bonny Light. So these are factors. When your productive capacity is low, the demand for your product has reduced. Of course, if this forms a major part of your earning capacity, of course, your earnings will drop, which is what again you are seeing in the depletion in our foreign reserve. Added to that is the fact that the budget just recently signed into law by the president, the 2020 budget, is a deficit budget of over 2 trillion naira. Now, the government is expected to make up that difference through borrowings internally and externally. Well, internal borrowing comes by way of issuing, certain instruments through the central bank for people to invest in, like treasury bills. Externally, you may borrow from our development partners. But then the question, therefore, is how well government policies actually. Now, the drop in our foreign reserve could be good or bad. Now, if the government is dipping a hand, let me use the word "her" now, dipping a hand into on the people.
All right, so let's go to CBN. Also revealed that Nigeria's dependence on crude oil for more than 60% of fiscal revenue and over 90% of forex earnings exposed Nigeria's economy to shocks from the international oil markets, which you also alluded to. Now, how can Nigeria cushion the effects on the of these in the coming? This year already. I'm tempted to say in the coming year. Already we are in the year.
Already in the year.
The
2020 that we talked about 20
years
years ago has finally hit us. But diversification is key. The government is pursuing a policy of diversifying the economy from crude to agriculture, right? Part of which we are seeing in the border closure. Such that even countries like Taiwan are now begging Nigeria to open borders because Thai rice is no more coming in and all that stuff. So we need to diversify our economy towards the area of agriculture, and then we need to increase and improve on our education and health infrastructure. There are certain countries that do not have oil.
And they're doing just fine
on the intellectual capacity of the people. When you invest in the people, you don't need the resources under their feet. What you need is their intellectual capacity. Because I mean, this is the Google generation. This is the digital era. If you take Amazon, for example, it's essentially the biggest trading company in the world, and its budget is bigger than what Africa as a continent does throw up annually. I mean, that's saying a lot, and that's digital. That's the digital economy. That's the virtual space. So we need to diversify into the area of agriculture so that there will be food self-sufficiency and security, which is key. And then we need to increase our budget in the area of education and health, such that Nigerians who travel abroad, for treatment and all, which is quite a lot for some of these countries, those monies will be retained. And then other countries, especially within the African, the West African sub-region, and even in Africa, can come to Nigeria because our health infrastructure will be good. These are foreign exchanges that will be coming in to help boost our economy. So I mean, these are some of the areas that we can improve. To diversify from certain areas that are not within our direct control. Right. I mean, we can actually help protect ourselves, because now there's this seeming threat between America and Iraq and Iran. If the war, if it does happen, or some kind of escalation does happen, well, it might be beneficial to us too, because it means there will be no production in those areas for a very long time, and our economy could be boosted. So sometimes these things have swing both ways, and it actually depends on how it rubs you.
All right, you are still here. We'll continue. And still in business, the disposable incomes of Nigerian consumers will be squeezed by the proposed increase of value-added tax on electricity tariffs this year. An economic and financial expert, Bismarck Riwane, has said. Riwane, who is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, said the VAT hike, which is from 5% to 7.5%, would lead to higher commodity prices. He said other challenges would include low income per capita and high income inequality and rising poverty rate in the country. They added that further depreciation of the Naira could translate to higher prices. Stay with me in the studio is Osilama, who's an economist. He will again share his thoughts on this. Now, the economic and financial expert, whom we all know, Bismarck Riwane, said disposable incomes of Nigerian consumers will be squeezed by the proposed increase of the VAT. Do you agree, or what are your thoughts on that? Because somehow we wait for, or people trust his forecast, so to speak.
I mean, Mr. Riwane is actually stating the obvious. You don't need to go to Harvard or Yale or Cardiff like I did to discern that. I mean, it's if you are raising the VAT from 5% to 7.5%, that's I talked about taxation. That's taxation, right? What it does is it does emasculate the transactional capacity of the people. So it's a contractionary policy by the government. Right. So yes, disposable, especially in a situation where incomes are not rising, where earning capacities are not rising, as it were. When you're now applying an increased taxation to a fixed income, of course, that would have a negative impact. So yes, I mean, it's absolutely right. Okay,
so we are already in the situation, so to speak. It's now 7.5. 7.5. Yeah. So what should Nigerians do to overcome the said hike, and that will lead to higher commodity prices in your opinion?
No, I think essentially, people need to find ways to improve their income capacity. That is one. Try to engage in other areas that would, have a multiple income stream. And then again, to reduce your spending. Cut out quite a lot of things that are not essential. You mustn't drink champagne, right?
Okay.
Luxury, cut out luxury. Just focus on the basics. It's only until you can actually afford those luxurious goods or services.
Then you can go for the extras.
Otherwise, cut your coat according to your material.
Yeah, that's the new way to say.
That's
let's stick to the essentials, so to speak.
You know, I mean, there are some countries that, I mean, VAT is actually 15%. I mean, you go to South Africa, it's much more than 7.5. So we've actually been pampered for far too long, as it were. I mean, let's be realistic. And these are some of the reasons why Nigerians are known as...
Let me not say because we depend. We trust his forecast. Do you agree with this, that we'll be in that situation, both globally and locally?
Put somebody, depending on how it rubs off on you. The trade war between China and the United States, we've all seen what the impact has been. You know, so yes, I mean, certain things, we are not major players in the economic global space. I mean, let's be realistic. Especially given now that our GDP has dipped, our ranking has tanked and all that, you know, so a situation where countries that we depend on essentially for as our trading partners, you know, maybe having certain issues or problems, I mean, it will impact on us. So, but I don't want to be overly negative, you know, I mean, let's still be hopeful that some things could work out for our good. If America and Iraq, if they go to, and Iran, if they go to war, it means that we will now be able to supply more oil and earn more. And then our foreign reserve will probably move from 38 billion where it is now, probably over 60 billion, which is good for us.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Osilama. Thank you. I share in your hope that things will work out for our good.
Hope is good. Let's keep it alive.
Even though it's not a strategy, but we'll keep it alive.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is a roundup on entertainment and sports news. We will be back in a moment. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like an
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IO.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
And in entertainment, Vanity Fair film critic Kirsten is under fire after he made an offensive comment about superstar Beyonce's first daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, on Thursday, January 2nd, 2019. The film critic mocked the 7-year-old after the rapper Megan Thee Stallion shared new images of Blue Ivy celebrating New Year's Eve with her mother and friends. This conversation sparked furious reaction from the online community as actress Jodie Turner-Smith responded to the critic by defending Blue Ivy and other black girls. Although Collins later deleted the tweet and apologized, fans of Beyonce and Jay-Z have called for him to be fired for cruel comments. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports coming up right after this short break. Be with us. In sports, Nigeria's top table tennis player Aruna Quadri has started the new year as the 18th best player in the world following the ranking for January 2020 released by the International Table Tennis Federation yesterday. Quadri ended 2019 as the 20th best player globally. In the new rating, Quadri moved up 2 steps to remain the undisputed best-ranked African player. It is his career's highest ranking to date. An excited Quadri said the ranking means more hard work for him in the new year. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We will be back again with more stories making the headlines. Please to join us again. I am Amaka Okoye, and have yourselves a great day.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now. And that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
And Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
I really like you. I can still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
Sleeping early.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. My name is Elsie Godwin, and I've got Nimi Adekombi with me and Ifeoluwa Oshunke.
Gang, what's up?
I'm alright.
How are you?
I'm just
good.
entering the new year vibe. I don't know. Like, it's just hitting me now that I need to start making big money.
Yes, like
Just
when you check your account
hitting.
balance now, 30 December, it's going to be such a clean January. Very clean.
Clean, no. Very clean.
Very, very clean January.
What did you say?
I said not for everybody.
Okay.
You got mommy. Those that do not do dirty December.
Should I raise my hand?
So what should we do for you now?
Should I raise my hand?
So I leave my mom.
I'll send my account balance after the show.
Account balance or account details?
It's true.
Let you say your account the balance, we will know.
No. Yeah, so I should be sending money. It still works.
All right.
Yeah, I can show you now.
No.
No.
Don't worry. Let's calm down. Take it easy. All right, moving on. We have a very special guest, but before that, we need to talk about what you guys are up to. So one of Nigeria's foremost rapper, Emma Yabaga, has supported the notion that his fellow celebs don't like him. A Twitter user had tweeted at the rapper saying, "I think your fellow celeb and artists don't like you that much, and they took every opportunity to show it, like the AKA and Wiz issue. They came for you and you took an L." Reacting to this, Emma Yabaga said, "This is because he said and what he did not say now. It's about how his colleagues feel about him and how we can perceive."
No, his colleagues had every right to act like that. Now, I saw what Tunde Ednut said.
Yes.
And Tunde Ednut
Tunde Ednut is his colleague. Let's be serious.
Okay. Tunde Ednut, king of shit.
Oh my God. It was a very simple question.
Okay, at least Tunde Ednut is someone that is. Yeah.
But it's not his colleague.
He
He's
said
not
his
the one
fellow
that
celebrities. They did not say his fellow musicians.
Self-celebs. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Make your point.
So Tunde Ednut was like, so it would be okay if a Wizkid says, "Am I shut up?" and they will feel like, okay, it's okay because it's a Wizkid. Because at the end of the day, we're not talking about whether who is richer, and then if you're talking about wealth, I don't think you can compare.
I don't even think Wizkid is richer than Akon.
No,
Akon is worth $80 million. I think Wizkid is worth $20 million. So there's like a huge wealth.
Okay, I feel like we're going back. I want us to talk about what they are saying. Let's talk about the reactions from even when he was battling Vector. So we saw should I call it a trend, or in that fight, it was a case of, okay, remember CDQ? He gave CDQ props in his song, and CDQ in turn kind of bashed him, and it was more like people didn't really come out to support MI. You had more people supporting Vector openly than people supporting MI, except his fans, and you know, I don't know, but I feel like for him to actually endorse whatever this guy said, it's probably coming from a personal place and how they've also related to themselves beyond social media?
Well, like, for me personally, I just felt like if you look at the trend, the whole trend, if it feels like people in his space are hating on him, then there should be a reason why they're hating on him.
Right.
Maybe some of the things that Vector said in his songs, maybe his accusations in Judas the Rat, maybe they are true. So I don't think it should be a case where MI feels like a victim. It should be a case where he looks at himself and asks himself some very important questions. Why do people in my industry hate me? Why are they blackballing me? I don't think it should be a case of him, like trying to make himself a victim.
I don't think he's making himself a victim.
Saying that he doesn't know, his tweets did not give
said
a
it's becoming
vibe.
clearer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, everybody is antagonizing
so I don't
me.
think he's being a victim. Some of us can come out and say, people don't like me in this office, or people don't.
And it's becoming clearer by the day.
So I don't think it's the way you now behave after that and how you relate to people that makes we now know if you're being a victim or not.
But I think MI should just realize that what he said about the whiskey, that nigga, sorry, I can't help it.
We'll go back to that.
Because they're a whiskey fan. Because I don't understand why you're going back
I'm a whiskey fan. Because I'm a whiskey fan, I would be supporting MI. But I just feel like, look, that doesn't make any... Not even the explanation was even the reach.
Like when he did that,
the money part
a lot of people were now calling Whiskey little bro.
Yeah,
I saw
CDQ just called him. CDQ was like with myself and my little bros.
Because
I think
it really
was.
doesn't mean anything. MI was just reaching, to be honest.
It was just reaching.
Okay, so up next for conversation, American rapper and actor Ludacris is now a citizen of Gabon, a country along the Atlantic coast of Central Africa. Ludacris, along with his wife and his entire family, were granted the Gabonese citizenship status on January 2nd, 2020, during his ongoing African trip. The actor showed off his Gabonese passports on his Instagram page, and he seemed really excited about it.
Africa to the world. That's all I can say.
Like Africa to the world.
Everybody is coming back.
African American, so. It's African American.
Like, you get what he's saying. I mean, people. I mean, let me not even say people. Nigerians. We can mention names. What's her name? The lady from the reality TV show. She just got her UK
Cafe. No, Euro.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them, and they come out, they make a lengthy post and blah, blah, blah. So if Ludacris...
Even though she was born in the UK.
I mean, if he's excited to be a citizen of Gabon, I mean, it's also African.
And his wife is Gabonese, in case a lot of people don't know. I didn't know that until today myself. Like, his wife is actually Gabonese. And,
well, I'll just say on this story, I see that there are a lot of African Americans that are trying to reconnect with their African roots. And then they post all this, they post on their social media pages, and I see a lot of Africans coming to laugh at them or bash them and say, negative stuff. So I'll be saying this to those people. Look, these people already feel a kind of disconnect, even in America, where they are. In America, they are not American enough. So if they are trying to reconnect with their roots, if they are trying to come back to Africa, going to Africa, let us try and be accommodating. Which other day was it that Tiffany Haddish, so she got an Eritrean this thing. So if these people are trying to come back to Africa and get their passports or become citizens of African countries, we should embrace them, not laugh at them. Because when Steve Harvey...
when we know how they went there.
Because when Steve Harvey came to Ghana and he did a video and he posted it on YouTube and he said, I felt my ancestors calling upon me, all those kind of stuff. Although I also laughed.
But that should calm down. We just
exactly.
But I think Ludacris also went to Ghana. He went to the Cape Coast and the Elmina Castle and all of that. So I like the fact that they're all trying to connect to their roots again. And that gives a lot of us joy.
And please, whoever is in charge of tourism in Nigeria should wake up. Are you trying to say there's nothing for people to connect to in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, we can take them to Badagry.
Ghana is making a kill from tourism, so somebody needs to wake up and do their job.
Yeah, please do your job. And if you can't do your job, kindly employ me. 090.
Okay. It's time for a very short break, but when we come back, we'll be introducing our studio guest. We'll be right back.
Hello, beautiful people. I go by the name Black Bassi, and I am an actor and a musician. Keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Nigeria, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
Them say na the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way dey inside. Come out, fire department come try quench the fire.
For the first time for Nigeria, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more tori, make una kukuma follow us at Plus TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. But no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
back. This is still Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Our guest on this episode is Abiye David Jumbo. He's a Nigerian singer and songwriter who was born, raised, and started his music career in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. He recently left his record label, where he was signed for 8 years, to his own record label, with singles like Pray For Me, God Bless Anybody, Banging, Bad Girl Special, Belema, In The Morning, to mention a few, and with a recent EP, Concentrate, which I think I've been jamming to. Let's make welcome Mr. 2K.
Hello. Welcome. Wow. Concentrate. That's a bad song. That song is mad. Okay. I like the fact that it's the name of the EP. Yeah. It's actually like the lead song on that EP, right? Yeah. So what was the motivation behind Concentrate? What are we concentrating on in 2020?
Whatever you want to consider, basically. For me, it was just me just singing. It's just a love song. You can decide to concentrate on a girl. It's pretty. You can decide to concentrate on anything. But it's just in between. Is that you want to ignore the girl and concentrate on something else, or you concentrate on her, or is it that you cannot concentrate whenever you see her? So it's just, you know.
So what are you concentrating on this 2020?
Everything. 2020, more my career, my brand, and then dropping an album this year, and shows, stores, and the rest of them, making more money, and then helping whosoever I can lay my hands on the heart.
I'm here in case you want to.
We rise by lifting others.
You know.
Okay, so all right. I noticed that you left your former record label, and now you're with your own record label. Can you just? I feel like when you switch, when you do stuff like that, I feel like it takes a lot.
Sure.
On you. So can you just explain to us what the process
I'll explain to you. The whole thing is like you're starting all over, but you're not starting afresh, you're starting with experience. So that's just the whole thing. Basically, yes, those people have left you, but while you're with them, you've made contact, you've known people in the industry, and you're quiet. So it's just for you to pick up from where they stop, and then you continue. It's either you fail or you don't. It's either. So nothing good comes easily. So there's going to be some bumpy, but definitely if you keep going, you might get to the place that is smooth.
8 years is a long time.
That's a long time.
And I don't think we have many artists in Nigeria that stayed with their record label for 8 years. Some people come out today and they want to have their own record label, and I'm wondering what's
the whole thing is that it was even what they want is even more than 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So the whole problem is like, because it's like it's a roll-up contract. After every 3 years, you sign. You renew the contract. So basically, I've renewed for like 8 years, right? So, and I said, I don't want to renew anymore if we're not adjusting the contract.
Okay. What did you want adjusted?
I think like it has to be partnership right now. It has to be made proper 50-50, not just when you take out what is invested and then you now tell me it's 50-50. At the end of the day, it's not even 50-50. It's below. It might be like 80-20.
No disrespect to anybody. We now have what is called street music with the likes of Naira Marley, Zlatan Ibile, and the likes, doing what I would say that, it doesn't necessarily have to have a message. It's just the vibe and the street sound, and people vibe to that.
There's a message. It's just the message that's not in your moral.
Exactly. There's a message. Let's just carry on. There is a message.
One of your songs that really made me drift towards you was "Who No Like Better Thing, Make I See," because there was a lot of message in that song. There was a lot of soul. There was a lot of heart in that song. But it's like you're also drifting towards the let's just party, party after party. Yeah? Is that what we're doing now, or you still doing the message thing?
What I'm trying to do now is, the kind of songs I used to do was more for people that have got experience. Okay, and the generation you're talking about, the Naira Marley, is for those kids that want to make mistakes and then learn from their own mistakes, and don't tell them about, don't do this and do that. They don't like to hear the parable, the proverb. Just tell them what they just want to make. They're just young and wild, maybe young, dumb, and broke, like the song. You understand? But they don't care, but they just want to be in that orders. But I don't want to talk about it, but it's more like the music, this is more like a drug and all that going on. So that's just it right now. But I'm not saying I'm encouraging drugs and all that, but I just want to do music for the ladies right now.
For the ladies.
You get for the ladies and
marketing strategy.
For the age, let's talk about from the age of let's say 15 or let's say 14, 15 to 20-something, you understand? Then the rest can just catch up because this other generation control this other age controls the age from 25 and 30. They want to know what these other people are vibing to. That's just it for me.
Very interesting. Okay, so still going back to the whole contract with your former record label, because there has been an increase in a lot of Nigerian artists who are establishing independent record labels. Would you say there's a pattern in the industry, and is there any regulation, in the industry to prevent record labels from exploiting their artists?
I don't know, because if it's just business generally, if you ask me, but it might not be good, or it might be good to both parties. So it's two ways. Like if I invest in you, I want to make what I have invested in you. You understand? But it might take a long time, or it might be quick. So when it's not quick, when it's too long, then one party suffers and the other one benefits. So that's the way. That's it for me. So I felt like it's good when. If it's very fast, then the both parties will just benefit really quick, because I'll just pay you up whatever you've invested. Because as a businessman, so I want to sign some other people. If I put 10 million there on you, I want to make back my 10 million and also make profit of that. You get so basically, but I can do it the right way. I say, okay, I'm not going to take everything. I'll just be taking bit by bit. I share. Maybe I just give you. If we make 5 million, I give you 2 and I go with 3. But you're still owing me. You understand? So that's a good method if you have.
Okay, let's talk about the news about you. So if I Google, this is what I did today. I Googled Mr. 2K, and it's going to be one controversy to the other. I see that you're saying Tasha, or you're saying Gifty.
That's my girl. That's my girl. That's Tasha. That's my girl.
That's your baby. So it seems you know the whole controversial people that come out of the border Nigeria. So Gifty and now Tasha. What is your do you find them on the show, or you know them before they go into the house, or what is your relationship with these women?
Okay, first, I don't want to talk about Gifty, but I knew her before the show. Okay. You understand? So, and Tasha, I knew Tasha before the show.
Interesting.
Okay, I was one of those who encouraged her to go for the show. You know, so basically, but that's it.
Speaking of controversies, okay, so now this is my question, because you've said this on so many interviews, but it's just an update. Is the Burna Boy case still ongoing, or you guys have quenched that?
We've quenched the case. We resolved it like families and brothers would do. So basically, I withdrew the case from court. That was last year. We did that last year. It was very quiet.
What about Echo Hotel? Because you were seeking 500 million in damages. So.
Echo Hotel.
Still ongoing?
No, Echo Hotel is settled out of court.
So you got some money?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Have you said that anywhere else? Exclusive. So Mr. 2K got money.
The reason that's like the beginning of the issue between me and my previous record label.
Okay. Oh, that was the beginning of the issue.
Yes.
Why? They were mad that you got money from Echo Hotel?
No. They even took the money.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh.
They took more than what I'm supposed to get, and they gave me less.
Wow.
And now you chop the beating.
Okay, I've always wanted to ask you this question, though. I mean, you left NLNG for music. I mean, that's basically the dream job for some people. Like, want to be around oil and gas and all that. Why do you think it's the best decision right now, looking back?
But LNG still pays me. They still pay me a lot. Like, when I mean they pay me, I go there for gigs, and they pay me more than what they used to pay me.
Oh, okay.
True. So you're still working with them indirectly?
Like this, like we just got back from LNG not too long from Ireland. So basically, working there before was me waiting for month end. I was among those who did
Shade doors.
who actually built the train since the gas train.
Yeah.
So, but after that, I felt like, I just have passion for
music.
You know, so I just have to use the money and invest in the music and all that.
And it's paying off.
Yeah, it's paying off. Because
okay, you have to sing for us.
Some millions that would never pay me.
Because our time is
working with them.
All right, so no artist gets on the table without singing or freestyling.
30 seconds.
So, 30 seconds to do that.
All right. So now. Baby, come be Mariana. Girl, you don't tell I don't wait you tired.
your body reminds me of fire. Nobody fit test to your standard. Girl, I only die for your matter. Concentrate too.
Jam.
Baby, me I know fit to just concentrate too. No, you be the sweet chocolate.
Wow. So that's a jam. So just listen to Concentrate if you haven't listened to that song.
Yeah.
Listen to the EP.
Actually,
The EP too. It's madness. Mr. 2K is back with a bang. 2020.
What up?
I'm the manager.
All right, I think that's how we wrap up this episode of Tea Time. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can watch this conversation all over again by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. You can also watch Tea Time on R2 TV and in London on Ben Television. My thank you, as always, go to my co-anchors, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye and Nimi Adekombi, and the entire production team. And of course, our guest, Mr. 2K. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Elsie Godwin. See you later.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus, politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Nigeria, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
Them say na the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way they inside. Come out, fire department come try quench the fire.
For the first time for Nigeria, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more tori, make una kukuma follow us at Plus TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like Alibaba now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IO.
Akpala music is for mature minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi like
sleeping early.
My country people, you do well say you join us inside news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This one then to we want summer given her until this very o'clock. My name na Destiny Momo. The Kogi State Police Command Yan say like 28 houses plus vehicles raised down sake of gunmen inside the Tawari community plus other destruction badness. Tawari community with about a 30 minutes drive from Gegu town for Lokoja Abuja Road, Kogi local government area. Get a heavy attack from unknown gunmen on Thursday night. The police public relations officer for the commander, Williams Anya, he disclosed this one for telephone interview. Anya will still disclose, say some lives been lost during the attack. Say the commissioner of police, Ede Ayuba Ekpeji, been visit the community for Kuru assessment. And the governor of Kogi, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, will direct the security agencies for the state to fish out perpetrators for Tawari attack for justice. Inside statement from the governor, Chief Press Secretary Onogu Mohammed inside Lokoja on Friday. The governor said the security agencies are supposed to swing into action, plus make sure say those who do this badness face the law. The governor will condemn the attack plus one, say anybody with the ambition to take crisis big inside the state go get himself or herself a blame. He can assure them saying administration could do every possible to protect lives plus property for the people for the state. He can tell the people to stay calm plus law abiding. He assured them saying in administration they very determined to flush out bandits badness plus the criminals to take command for the state. And the Nigerian Air Force say they destroy one Boko Haram logistics facility for Gujeri inside Sambisa Forest area of Borno State. The Air Force said the operation been executed through the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole. Director of Public Relations plus Informate Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola make this matter known inside statement on Friday for Abuja. He explains say they achieved for 9th time airstrikes with an execute for December 31, 2019, pursuant to one series for intelligence, surveillance plus reconnaissance missions. And the People's Democratic Party, PDP, don't condemn the demolition for one property which belonged to the family of a former Senate President Bukola Saraki from the Kwara State government. The PDP described the attack plus the demolition, saying a wicked, cowardly plus direct recipe for big crisis badness for the state. The party inside statement from their National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbondiyan, Yan said the action for the state government they born out of a hatred plus a political intolerance. The party Yan said the plot from the APC and their administrator to take intimidate, suppress, hound, crush, plus a silence opposition, plus we no go grieve voices for our country inside the bid to by force siege mentality on top of the citizenry. Earlier for our news, Ugochukwu Ekeako will be political analyst. He took mount for the Yan.
Not what will happen every time for Nigeria. Anytime you see say governor don't come out, new one just share the enter. That one go be in the do anyhow, go be in the show that one say, na me they in charge, na me be president now, na me be chairman. So you go one come the rough farm. They do some kind to be say we no supposed they, we no supposed do, when they even court not allow. Say if you say you the property don't they we no supposed they, you supposed go through the waiting the they call proper channels, make everything take go well before you can scatter the whole building. And the thing be say the way the governor take do one because 2019 the Kwara people say Saraki I make una they go, no one make una lead us again. But as don't they do this thing now, don't they try those sympathy where they are against the Saraki family, they don't they come back to the Saraki them because the property self, old women, people will not get anything, people with the place say they just take they use the Saraki them, take the whole body. Now you don't push all of them come out for street. So the thing now no be say not the governor and people they know wise because if they're wise, they should understand say you get issue with these bros. You get people who still they involved. You get people who be quiet, people with their hand, they don't do anything. The only thing where they come, the only crime maybe coming maybe say because they like the late Bukola Saraki papa, they day in house, they there, they give them food, they do all that thing. So even if you want to come out them from that home, where we say they call them age home, that Ila Arubo, where they carry them go? Nobody to just scatter house. If you say the house say you want scatter, you say no, it's a government property, no wahala agree. If you revoke the CFO, everything, you give them another place. And so it's supposed to be.
All right, Mr. Ogochukwu, you feel say everything we're shelling now, you get any political backing inside? 100%.
If political backing no day, no go happen. It be like say as the whole team be the political backing, the price are like full thought to they go. So anything way they see there na game for politics. So be say the man one show say na him be #1 for Kwara State, but the thing be say the governor they show say na him be #1 for Kwara State, but no be so it's supposed to be because when you be a governor, you be servant of the state. And if you get person who not do something worse, sure you believe that one of the things we say they take me person who believe that we say tolerance is supposed to be there, understand is supposed to be there. If you know if you understand your community people, the quiet people themselves will make you governor. Leave Saraki matter, carry and go court. If court say make you demolish, do it the right way. No come in the middle of them. People say they crash for that place. Some people say that they crash and their house be done and where they go sleep. Then you can't carry bulldozer, come enter there around 12 a.m.
Now, still on this bulldozing matter. Now you feel say okay. Now the government say and then all serve them any paper from court.
Yeah.
Now you think say battle line don't they drawn between the Sarakis and the Kwara government now?
Battle line they don't draw tete. They draw before the election, and now they see the buzz bulls. They happen, say everybody see them. They don't draw the battle line tete. So the thing that be say make them Saraki now because they know they use fire quench fire.
Okay.
They use water quench fire. So what thing happen? I say as this thing don't enter because this thing don't pass number plate, don't pass homie. They don't enter in a serious fight and people feel die and they don't destroy property again. So the only way the two of them supposed to do for the interest of the state, even Saraki himself, for the interest of the state, he say may they carry the matter go court, may the court adjudicate. Then finally, if the court feel say okay, governor, what you do no make sense, you no do it, then may they pay compensation to the Saraki family. But for now, the thing what all of them supposed to do, make anybody know to we don't see what thing that happen, don't happen, but may they no push and pass this level. Make person no fit die for the whole matter.
Residents for Naka Town inside the Gwe West local government area for Benue State, they call for urgent help as they claim say groundwater we then find inside wells for the community don't they polluted by plenty petroleum products. Then they fear make epidemic as they pollute water we them see for like a 30 well inside their community, making no be source for concern and making no go put to plenty household for inside the danger. Some of them yam exclusively to Plus TV Africa. They accuse one petrol station for the community, saying that then do this badness, and then call on the state government, the Department of Petroleum Resources, security agencies, and relevant stakeholders, so may then come to their rescue.
Extra might was ensuring that that filling station is sealed off, because my people, what is happening now, they're sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And if I allow it, I think in no distant future, there'll be disaster in my local.
Now, the level of fuel in the water is getting higher and is spreading to so many houses, more than 35 households here across every day. So we are making efforts to take our reports to Benue State House of Assembly officially, DPR, Public Complaint Commission.
Almost 35 households who is the majority leader of this Benue State House of Assembly is involved, and he don't want to help us because he's the only one whom he called that man. The man he will come immediately.
If there is a way they will rescue us and supply water for us, or where the problem is from, the filling station, where the problem is from.
It reached 3 years now, or more than 3 years. This was the initial way that I thought. And the thing can't happen. I went and did another one. Look at the other way there. If they can be giving us water, I think we will not have any problem again now. Our problem is water.
Christians inside the Makurdi, the Benue State capital, done the task to match actions with their resolution so that they fit to succeed for the new year. Some clerics say yarn with Plus TV Africa, then call on Christians to prepare well for the challenges of the new year, make them not take them with a surprise.
As Christians, our word should be our bound. Are you understanding me? Don't say what you cannot do. And you see, we are living by faith. Are you understanding me? So many times when you are saying a New Year resolution, it's supposed to be an act of faith. You are believing God that He will help you to achieve this as the year begins. Don't just talk about making resolutions that you know you cannot be able to keep them. If you are making New Year resolutions, put those resolutions as your own personal standard of what you want to achieve in the year, or the habits, the bad habits you want to drop for the year, and work towards it. It's not just by making pronouncement. Let it be a guide. Work towards achieving what you have resolved to do for the next year, and then you will be a better person.
If we want to succeed and become great people, we should prepare. It is proper preparation that prevents poor performance. And of course, if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail.
And they don't tell the Edo State government to make them do work for the domestication for the National Disability Act to take enter law. This now is plenty non-governmental joint body then groove begins them with the special needs for inside the Benin City, the Edo State capital.
Today's event is basically for children that are living with one challenge or the other. The children we call special children. We observe something that each time we are in festive period, these children are always stigmatized, they are not remembered, and it's not too good. So that special children also partake in the Christmas celebration. The Christmas is not only for regular children, it's for all children, as long as you are a child. I want to also use this opportunity to also call on the general public to see how they can support this particular program. He's able to excuse himself to make sure that he puts a party like this together for the children, put a smile in their face. So I just pray that it continues.
Special children also have the reason to celebrate. And so I want to commend the organizers for making this possible for special needs children. There's a disability law in place at the national level right now, and we know that the Edo State is about also domesticating that act, National Disability Act. The executive is committed to sending an executive bill to establish the Commission for Persons with Disability.
Having a special Christmas party for the children. And they are, of course, as you know, they are one of the most one of the most special persons that you can identify with. And it has been fun since we came to them to give them the Christmas message of love. Because this period is the period really that we talk about love. And we want to use this opportunity to reach out to the government, and to the government of the state, to extend that love further by signing our disability bill.
The host is using his good will to do what he knows how to do. Anyone that has the permission to do things like this should do it and do it well with pure mind.
We want to take a small break now. When we come back, we will bring you African news. Will they come? And on top African news, the Algerian president, when they elect just new Abdelmadjid Tebboune, forming own government on Thursday. 2 weeks after he take office, after one controversial election, his spokesman said Tebboune cabinet today with 39 members when he announced by the spokesman for State TV Live from the presidency. Then be elected Tebboune for December for election when them spoil with a plenty low turnout for less than 40%, with month-long protest movement to take a boycott vote for one attempt from the government to consolidate power. Now, this movement has been forced long-time President Abdelaziz Bouteflika to step down during by April. And flights have been suspended until further notice for the only functioning airport inside the Libya capital, Tripoli, on Friday, sake of a rocket where they fall nearby. Now, airport officials now in this one. The closure for Mitiga Airport, they come 1 day after Turkey Parliament vote to allow one troop deployment to Libya, bring better fears for escalation on top of fight inside the North African country. Eastern-based forces, where they led by military commander Khalifa Haftar, done the wage campaign since April to take control Tripoli from forces where they aligned with Libya internationally recognized government. The offensive soon stopped for the outskirts for the city, but it don't lead to increased international involvement for the Begay. Information they come next now, our foreign news. And on top foreign news, the Iran Supreme Leader been named the deputy head of the Revolutionary Guards Foreign Operations Arms, Ismail Qani, to replace their commander Friday after him being killed inside the U.S. strike for Baghdad. Sake of the martyrdom for the glorious General Haj Qasem Soleimani, named Brigadier General Ismail Qani as the commander for the Quds Force for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei Iran so for statement where they posted for an official website. Qani been then described by Khamenei as one of the most decorated commanders for the guards during by 1980 going to 1988 Iran-Iraq war. And one U.S. strike killed Iran Quds Force Chief Qasem Soleimani. The Pentagon yarned this one on Thursday. Plus, Soleimani been actively develop plans to attack Americans inside Iraq and the Middle East. For the direction for the president, the U.S. military don't take decisive defensive action to protect the U.S. personnel abroad as in kill Qasem Soleimani. The Pentagon yarn inside the statement, this strike been they aim to scatter future Iranian attack plans. Now, so Iran plus say the United States could continue to take necessary action to protect Americans plus interests around the world. The Pentagon Iran says Soleimani been do attack badness on top coalition bases inside Iraq, sake of the past few months, plus approved the attacks for the U.S. Embassy inside Baghdad this week. U.S. officials Iran on top the condition of anonymity said Soleimani they killed inside the drone strike for inside Baghdad. And one man stabbed plenty number of passers-by for one park near Paris before police then shoot and die, according by local media reports. The knife attack shelled for the town for Villedieu for 7 kilometers south for the French capital. 4 people now in them believe say get stabbed wounded, including of 2 we then say don't already die. The attacker been chased by police and then shoot him nearby. Some reports suggest to say he been wear explosive vest, but they never confirm him. Police don't advise people to avoid the area near to the Heads-Bruyères State Park. And business news after this Shinkini break. Will they come back? And inside business news, the country foreign reserve don't drop with $4.45 billion from the $43.07 billion with a record for January 2019 to $38.61 billion for December 2019, maybe Central Bank of Nigeria data with a review. The data shows that Nigerian foreign reserve don't keep downward trend since the June 2019 when it been dropped from the $45 billion mark inside the July to reach the $40 billion mark. It go down more past the $40 billion mark later for November. And now it is stand on top of $38.61 billion. Meanwhile, the central bank don't recently open mouth to say Nigeria dependence on top of crude oil for more than 60% of fiscal revenue, plus more than 90% should say forex earning, means that the country revenue plus the forex supply, they exposed to shocks from the international oil market. It still adds say these shocks have been transmitted to the Nigerian economy, sake of say they manufactured plus traders will need forex for purchase for necessary raw materials been they faced with bad supplies. And the disposable income for Nigerian consumer go they squeezed from the proposed increase of value-added tax plus electricity tariff this year. Now, economic and financial expert Bismarck Rewane yarn so. Rewane will be the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer for Financial Derivatives Company Limited, say as the VAT go up from 5% to 7.5%, it will lead to higher commodity price. And say other challenges will be low income per capita currently at $2,236, high income inequality plus a rising poverty rate for Wiobodo. Then say more depreciation for the Naira fit to translate to higher prices. And still for front on top Plus TV African news and our roundup on top of entertainment plus sports news. When they come back just now. American rapper Christopher Brown Bridges, aka Ludacris, is a citizen of Gabon now, country where they along the Atlantic coast for Central Africa. Ludacris plus his wife, ex-dogs and his entire family been they granted the Gabonese citizenship status for January 2, 2020. During an ongoing African trip, he entered an official Instagram page to share the news of his Gabonese citizenship status before their trip to Gabon. Ludacris and his wife, Idogse Mbugengwe, been visited Ghana for the year of return activities. Then visit places like the Cape Coast Castle, where African now Tarek Jab don't they reappointed as the country new minister for natives, been they enslaved like 400 years ago. And also we take entertainment. And now we could bring on the very best on top sports after this break. And for sports, the 65-year-old Diaba win like 100 international caps, including playing for the 1978 World Cup plus the 1988 Olympics. For club level, he played more than 400 times for Tunisia side, Esperance over 2 stints either side of 2 years inside Saudi Arabia for Al Ahly. Inside 1977, he became the only Tunisian football player to be crowned African footballer for the year. which is organized by France Football Magazine. In last international football match, the 1990 friendly game against England. He retired from football 2 years later, once again after one high-profile friendly as Esperance take Italian giant Juventus. Sake of his retirement, he spent time as vice president for Esperance, and then he worked as analyst on top of several Arabic television channels. And that now our news roundup for events we shared during by this very o'clock. For more news updates, I beg follow us at Plus TV Africa on top of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it will make a bonga sense if you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We will come back later with more stories where they make a background headlines. Make you join us. My name is Destiny Momo.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now. And that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like Alibaba now?
And Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early. Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will feel the pulse of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Mona Lisa is all about me. It's all about you. It's all about our stories. The stories that never get told, but ought to.
Whereby water transportation does not make financial sense, it makes economic sense.
I was there for 2.5 hours on the floor. Nobody attended to me.
If we don't take care of the poor will take care of us.
It's about getting at the root of things and hearing from the horse's mouth.
We have 15 public hospitals to make them affordable.
In the whole of Africa, we are bigger. You know, Nigeria, we sleep, eat, dream, fashion.
Those with the financial backing don't see fashion as an investment, which makes no sense.
If they do it for free, they won't have money for the next case. Mona Lisa is about real life and real lives, yours and mine. Make a date with Mona Lisa, and together, let's ensure that the important stories get told.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
On Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday.
To take over power.
Partnership with DW dancing
family home at the age of 19. At first, it was really me. It's amazing, not strange, but amazing. She's an extraordinary girl. Andre Yoka is a music professor at the National Institute of Arts. He explains that the drum is a sacred object for the Congolese people. The female image is also fetishized, he says, so bringing the two together can be seen as problematic. Play music spontaneously. Young people from the area watch her with interest. Talinga is now well known in Kinshasa, but she still has problems.
When John Rapasa Otieno was a child, he learned the centuries-old sounds of his ancestors while listening to his grandmother sing and watching her traditional dance shops to inspire more youngsters to play the traditional instrument. Sometimes he finds the cans he needs for his rattles at Nairobi's dumps. The nyatiti is Rapasa's principal instrument. This 8-string harp originated in Egypt. It was later played by the Luo people of Kenya. The lower 4 strings symbolize the first 4 days after a boy's birth.